welcome along to another video. I'm Kat from craftwithkat.com. It's so wonderful to have you here. You can see I've got some watercolour paper there on the right with our fabulous Yippee Skippy stamp set. I'm just brushing over here with the embossing buddy, and I'm going to stamp one of these phrases with some First Mark ink, because I am then going to go over with some white embossing powder. You're actually going to see a kind of watercolour technique in this video today, which I'm going to use to then make a card. And I'm just debating whereabouts on the paper I'm going to stamp this. As it happens, it kind of didn't matter because I did end up cutting the sheet down because it wasn't 100% straight. But that's absolutely fine. That's how it works sometimes. So you can see I just put the white embossing powder on and then just took a little bit off. The beauty of the embossing buddy is that you very rarely get any bits of powder stuck anywhere other than where you want it. You can see I just had that tiny bit there, but that was it. And now once we've got rid of the excess, we're then obviously going to we're going to heat the powder up so it goes all shiny and has a kind of resist technique. Now I'm just going to get together a couple of our gorgeous Stampin' Up! Inks. You can see here some of our in colours, and I'm actually going to flip them open and just stamp down on the silicone craft mat. Actually, whilst I'm doing this, this does create quite a bit of ink. So my top tip, if you're going to do this, is to actually do quite a few cards with the same technique, or whatever it is you're making, rather than just do all this just for one, because you'll see in a minute it did take a fair bit of cleaning up, and actually it's probably best to do more than one to use up the ink. So I'm just spritzing some water on both the ink that's down on the silicone and on the watercolour paper, and just smooching the card around. Obviously, technical term there with the smooching. Just picking up some of the excess off the bottom there that's gone a kind of murky brown colour. That's not what we want. And then I'm going to pop the paper back down just on an area I wanted a little bit more colour. There we go. So now you're going to see some hardcore cleaning up of all this ink, just drying it all a little bit here. Just managed to get a little bit more of the excess off. So I'm just going to get rid of all of the ink before we really dry that up. And you can see there's a lot of ink there, and I really wanted to show you this to show how much ink it really does get. And I do get to the point with this cloth that I'm just actually putting more ink back down onto the paper, onto the craft sheet, sorry, rather than picking it up. So as I said, I would really do this with more than one at a time, whether it be a card or whatever it is you're using. So then I dried it, and this is how it came out. Really, really beautiful. Now I'm actually going to cut round the actual phrase. In the end, I only use one border of these decorative frames rather than the two. So we've got my big shot out here, and the great thing about actually doing some form of die cutting once you've done something with wet media is it actually flattens out the paper, which is a really great way of doing it, because otherwise it can be all kind of folded and creased up a little bit. So it's a really nice thing to do. So you can see here I've got some Whisper White cardstock as my card base, and I've cut out that phrase. And I've got some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, because I'm going to use some of those to pop off. And I'm just putting together my snail adhesive as well. So I've just got all my the tools that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to go over with my bone folder and just really straighten that edge out, because it wasn't 100% straight, just to give it a really nice fold. And I'm pretty happy with that. Lovely stuff. So now I'm actually going to colour with the black Stampin' Right marker. And the nice thing about using the framelits is it does give you a kind of a little border to colour around, and I just really like this effect. So we're literally just, it's a dead simple, stick that down and pop off the top here. So you're going to see me just finishing up this card. As I said, it's pretty simple card, but a really fun technique to use. And I hope you've enjoyed being here with me today. As I said, I'm Kat from craftwithkat.com, and please check out our blog posts and lots of other fun stuff over at craftwithkat.com to find out all the information about all the supplies used, to shop Stampin' Up! Supplies, as well as to see some other really great video tutorials. And I'm just finishing up with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals here. I just really do adore those, getting those off and getting them onto the card base. And there we go. Thanks!